The fall rains, spring rains, doesn't matter. What is the very best bait to throw when the willow bushes get flooded? What's my number one choice? I bet you know. Whoa! That's a beauty. Good morning, guys and girls. September 24. September 24, the book of Isaiah. Isaiah 43:4. Isaiah 43:4. I love this one. I want you to take this one to heart. No matter what's happening in your life, you take this to heart. Isaiah 43:4 says, "You are precious to me. I give you honor and love you." The book of Isaiah. Isaiah is God's prophet. He wrote a tremendously long, a lot of the Bible. He wrote a tremendously long book of the many times he prophesied through 3 or 4 different kings. And God spoke to him, and he said, "I'm God's messenger." And he spoke to him constantly. And this is what God was telling Isaiah to say to the people. You are precious to me. I give you honor and love you. This is God himself saying that. If you're a beginning fisherman, or if you're teaching someone to fish, don't dwell on what you are doing wrong. You're just learning to throw a casting reel, don't dwell on the backlashes. Dwell on the good cast. Don't dwell on the backlashes. At the same time, be sure to learn from your mistakes. And if there's a fisherman out there who doesn't make mistakes, I've never been in the boat with him or with her. By the way, if you're not subscribed to the Catch of the Day channel, be sure to go in there and hit that subscribe button right now. Be sure to share this with several of your friends. It's a channel that can absolutely change their lives. One of the most important channels, I think the most important channel on YouTube. By the way, for great, cool Jimmy Houston merchandise, go to jimmyhouston.com. God knows that we make mistakes. God knows that. We knows we make mistakes in our relationships with him. He knows that we make mistakes in our relationships with others. Here's a big deal. He knows that we sin even after we're saved. Even after we become a believer, we become a Christian, he knows that we sin. We know, however, this is the big deal. We know, however, that he loves us and that we are more than just important to him. We're more than just important to God. We are precious to him. That's what it says right here. You are precious to me. You are precious to me. That's God talking to me. That's God talking to you. You are precious to me. That's what God's saying. We all want to be loved. Sure, we all want to be loved. We want to be special to someone. How humbling, and yet how incredible it is to know that we are very special and loved so very much by the God of the universe, by the God that flung the moon and the stars into space, by the God that created you and me, the God that created everything, the God that controls my next breath, your next breath. We are more than important to him. We are very special and loved. God said so himself. God said so himself. You know, when we think about something being or somebody being precious to us, think about that. Sherry sent me a picture yesterday of Chris holding our new baby granddaughter, Dakota. She's beautiful. She's just beautiful. I haven't got to hold her yet. I haven't seen her yet. But Chris got to see her for the first time. She's a couple, 2 or 3 weeks old. And Sherry sent me a picture of Chris holding that baby. And Chris has a hard time with one side of her mouth. The right side, you know, it kind of still droops a little. It's coming back into that smile. One side smiles, the other side doesn't. But as she looked at that baby, even after the stroke and everything, you could see how precious she thought that little baby girl was to her. To her, she's holding that granddaughter. Those of you that have grandkids, you know what I'm talking about. Those of you that have kids know what I'm talking about. That same thing is in God's heart. And he's holding us in the palm of his hand, not just when we're little tiny babies, but every second of every day of our lives. And we are precious to him, and we're loved by him. So no matter what's happening in your life, no matter how bad you feel about the way somebody treated you or betrayed you or lied to you or did you wrong or tormented you or whatever, just remember, what God said in Isaiah 43:4. You are precious to me. I give you honor and love you. You are precious. I give you honor and love you. Oh, that's a good one. I can't get over that. It just makes my heart want to explode when I think about the fact that I'm precious to God Almighty. In all my frailties, all my mistakes, all of the sins I've committed. I got saved at 12 years old. I committed a lot of sins, but yet through all of that, I'm precious to God. Here's our tip for today. When willow bushes get flooded, break out your spinnerbaits. I bet nearly every one of you got that right. Break out your Jimmy Houston Legend spinnerbaits, or, Red Man spinnerbaits will be available pretty quick. You got to get your hands on those. You got to get your hands on them. Break out your spinnerbaits no matter what time of the year. That's the critical part of this. About everybody figured out spinnerbaits are good. A lot of baits you can throw in flooded willow bushes, obviously, but spinnerbaits are just so good because you can cover so many bushes, so much water, and they'll jump out of those bushes and try to jerk that rod out of your hand. So break out your spinnerbaits, even in the fall. We haven't had much rain in Oklahoma. We're in a really, really, really dry period right now. But there's going to be some fall rains coming. And if it gets up and the water comes up and gets flooded, even in the fall, even in the wintertime, and of course, obviously in the spring, break out your spinnerbaits. Guys and girls, go out there and have you a great day today. And remember, just like God, you are precious to me.